We're at the Author's Studio at Bookexpoamerica 2012 in New York City, and right now sitting with author Lakesia Johnson. Hello, Lakesia.
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm great, and the book, if you don't mind holding it up, is called Iconic, Decoding Images of the Revolutionary Black Woman. It's about stereotypes, it's about negative images, and you talk about shooting holes in all of that.
Yeah, one of the important things that I wanted to come across with in the book was this idea that Black women, particularly those in the public eye, are confronted with these stereotypes, and one of those stereotypes is the angry Black woman. And what I was most interested in was really looking at how certain kinds of negative images get, or negative narratives and images get placed on these women. So, you know, I start with Michelle Obama as one example of that in the 2008 campaign.
All right, so you profiled 9 women, and one of them, as you mentioned, is the First Lady, Michelle Obama. Why do you consider her a revolutionary?
One of the things I do early in the book is I talk about sort of how I'm thinking about revolution, and in terms of the thesis for the book, I'm really interested in thinking about revolutionary women as those women who are engaged in progressive politics toward a social justice or an end toward social justice, right? So, I mean, that's a very different idea of what revolutionary is, because it's a very loaded phrase. I mean, for some people, if you say revolution, they say Karl Marx, you know, whatever, you know, they think communist and all those things. But
so how exactly do you define it?
I define it as a revolutionary Black woman is someone who is engaged in political activism and progressive politics with the goal of achieving social justice.
Lakesia, our society is still very intimidated by powerful women and by powerful Black women. Why do you think that is, and how can that change?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think one of the things that I hope to accomplish with this book is raising awareness about the ways that we are subtly programmed to react to strong women and strong Black women in certain ways. You know, if you think about the popularity of reality television shows, almost in every version of a reality television show, there's the angry Black woman. So it's become an archetype, and I think one of the ways to deal with that that tendency to be threatened by these women is to really unpack where that comes from. Like, what is it about strong women that makes, you know, people uncomfortable?
Now, many of the women you discussed, like Sojourner Truth and Pam Grier and Michelle Obama, they have fought these negative images throughout history. And you point out that many of them have been willing to fight those images because they had a goal greater than themselves. I'm wondering, by writing this book, do you have a goal greater than just yourself?
I mean, I would be honored to be considered, you know, a revolutionary in the sense that I'm thinking about, you know, the women that I talk about. But I think I have a more modest goal. I mean, I want to raise awareness about these stereotypes, and then hopefully, and I think this is, you know, being an educator, you know, there's always the hope that you can sort of plant the seed and that people will start to think critically about the media that they consume. So in that sense, well, yeah, I guess I am revolutionary then, or, you know, I'm moving toward that kind of...
Time for a biography, an autobiography, I'm hearing.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Well...
You profiled 9 women. How did you pick those 9, and how many did you start with and you had to pare it down?
Okay, yeah, and you know, at the beginning, I wasn't really thinking about it as a profile of 9 women. In fact, what got me interested in this area was a fascination with Pam Grier movies. And
Jackie Brown movies, right?
Well, Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown.
Yeah, and actually I talk about the remake, Jackie Brown, as sort of a tribute film. That plays on that old imagery. So I'm watching these old movies, and there's this, you know, this Black woman with an afro, and she's shooting guns and running people over with cars and doing kung fu moves and everything. And I'm thinking, there was a lot that was negative about some of those images, but there was something pretty exciting and empowering for me as a Black person, a Black woman, seeing this on screen. And so I started to think about, okay, so how do we represent a revolutionary black woman. Like she almost always has an afro, right? She's a badass, right? Oops, can I say ass on the air?
You can.
Okay, she's a badass. You know, she can fire a gun, she has fatigues, you know, and then I started thinking about, okay, so what other areas in society do we see that? And then I moved into looking at Angela Davis and how, you know, the controversy surrounding
A true revolutionary.
Well, yeah, I mean,
almost every sense.
Well, yeah, and some people question why I would put her together, say, with Sojourner Truth, right?
Yeah.
But if, you know, that goes back to my definition, because I'm looking at, in some ways, I think I'm expanding what we think of as revolutionary action. And so, you know, the Sojourner Truth, I mean, she risks life and limb to fight against slavery and to, you know, achieve abolition. So, I mean, she had to negotiate a minefield of negative stereotypes, and that's where I'm most drawn to in the work. Like, how do these women take these negative stereotypes and then reconstruct them in a way that actually promotes the social agenda that they want to, you know, promote?
Do you think Michelle Obama considers herself a revolutionary?
I'm hoping she's happy with it. I mean, think about it. I mean, she's the first
You're
African
going to be
American.
audited. I just want to let you know that. Okay?
She's the first African American first lady, and if you look closely at what happened after she got the negative feedback during the 2008 election, you'll see that she toned down some of, you know, sort of her, I don't want to say aggressive because I didn't think it was aggressive, but she was often categorized as aggressive, or if you remember the whole discussion of her being unpatriotic because she says, you know, for the first time in America, you know, in my adult life, I'm proud to be American. And then of course the New Yorker cover, right? And so when I saw that cover and I was like, wow, you know, so what is it about this particular woman that makes people threatened by her, and then what makes them turn to this negative iconography? You know, she doesn't wear an afro, but there she is, you know, the caricature with the afro. So yeah, I do think being the first African American first lady and daring to, you know, believe that yes, we could have a black family in the White House is pretty revolutionary. You know, maybe not by classic definitions. But by my definition.
And that's the one that counts right now.
Well,
because you just came out with a book about
that's
it.
Right.
All right.
That's right.
She is Lakesia Johnson, and the book is called Iconic: Decoding Images of the Revolutionary Black Woman. Lakesia, a lot of good luck with the book.
Thank you. Thank you.